It is 46 days till the man burns, and today we're talking about valuables and what to do with them when you're at Burning Man. Because for a lot of people that are coming over from abroad, you may not have a choice about bringing certain valuables with you, especially if you're planning to do, an extended trip and travel around somewhere before or after Burning Man. At the very least, if you're flying in, even if you leave all of your other valuable stuff at home, you at least have your passport, which you probably don't want to lose. So firstly, only bring the valuables that you absolutely need. Like, you might think that you absolutely need to take your phone, but do you really? You could pick up just a prepaid phone. They're about $10 in America. They're not super expensive. It might be an option that you could leave your nice phone at home where it's nice and safe and, just pick up one of those phones instead. So whatever valuables you are planning to bring along, anything that you just really, really don't want to lose, really try and think if there's an alternative, if there's any way that you could not bring those things. Make sure you have insurance for anything that you're bringing along with you, just in case something does happen to it, it does get broken or stolen or, whatever happens to it. And make sure you check the policy, see, what excess are you going to have to pay if you do need to claim on the insurance, and what exact coverage do you have. Because with some valuables, especially like electronic valuables, because the player dust is very alkaline, it's very corrosive, and so your insurance might cover you if you, say, drop your camera and it smashes. But is your insurance going to cover you if your camera gets full of player dust, or if you decide to leave your phone in the car and it just bakes in there and all the electronics decide to die from the heat? So make sure you know what you're covered about. If there's anything you're not clear about, then, shoot off an email to the insurance company, call them up or something, and ask them to clarify. I always think that doing stuff like that is better by email, even though it takes longer, because then you have evidence of that interaction. If you just do it on the phone and the person's like, yeah, it's fine, of course you're covered, you don't really have any evidence of that happening or that taking place unless you record the call. Things are just a lot less complicated if you have it in writing. So another option, if you have things that you need to bring to America with you but you don't want to actually take to Burning Man, is to look into storage solutions or lockers, things like that. Reno doesn't have any lockers or storage, but San Francisco does. But I believe the San Francisco storage is Luggage Storage. I think they just give you a price when you turn up based on what you want to store, but because it's luggage storage, I'm not sure if you would be able to turn up and be like, hey, I just want to leave my phone and my camera here. But there are independent storage places. I had a look at the ones in Reno, and you can get a small cupboard-sized storage container for about $30 for the month. So even though you probably won't need it for the month, $30 is not a huge amount to pay to keep your valuables safe. Make sure you check out different companies, see what deals they're offering, see, what kind of price you can get for it, and make sure you're not signing up to anything where you, find that you're tied into 6 months and you find yourself renting a storage locker in America for 6 months when, you just needed it for a week. That is a great option if you're just leaving that all somewhere nice and safe. You're not going to be worried about it while you're at Burning Man. If none of that is an option, you could always put the word out in the burner community. If you are part of a burner community, then you already know how to do that. If not, maybe try going on some forums or the subreddit or something. Just, explain, I have to bring these valuables with me. I really don't want to take them to Burning Man. Is there anyone that happens to be, around this kind of location, wherever it is, it's convenient for you to be leaving those valuables and then picking them up afterwards? They wouldn't mind you just dropping a few bits off to leave in their place until after Burning Man. You might not have any luck. There might not be anyone that is willing to do it or can do it. It might be a bit tricky to coordinate. But it is an option if you are really struggling with where you're going to leave these valuables. But you never know, you might be lucky. And the burner community is generally full of really nice people that don't mind helping each other out, that want to make other people's lives easier. Okay, so you've exhausted all your options. There's absolutely no way you cannot bring those valuables with you. You have to bring them. So before you even leave, the first thing you want to do is back up anything that is precious to you. If you have photos on your phone, anything like that, anything you're bringing that's electronic that stores something, if you don't want to lose that stuff, back it up. For a lot of people that lose their phones or have their phones stolen, it's not the fact that the phone's gone, it's the fact that the phone was full of things that they now can't get back. It was full of pictures or videos or, important things that they now can't get back. With a lot of devices, there's very easy ways to do that. There's cloud storage and online storage and, storage stuff. So it might be as simple as just kind of activating something on your phone, backing everything up to that place. If not, back it up to your computer, an external hard drive, a USB stick, buy fresh memory cards so you can just switch out the memory card for a fresh one before you go. Just make sure that any kind of important data, pictures and stuff is safe. You might have to take your phone along, but you don't have to take those photos along. You can leave those photos at home where it's going to be safe. When you get to Burning Man, label all those valuables with your name and your camp location. Even if you don't plan to be taking them out with you or doing anything except leaving them in a safe spot, it's still a good idea to label them. If for whatever reason they go missing, if you've labeled them, there's a chance you might be reunited with them. If there's no label on them and someone just comes across, like a mobile phone, it's going to be very hard for them to return it to you. Obviously as well, if your stuff does go missing, you'll want to check kind of lost and found and see if it's been handed in. And if it's been stolen, you're like, there's absolutely no way that, I've dropped it or lost it somewhere, someone has come and stolen this. Then report it. You need to report it to a law enforcement officer, and you need to do it as soon as possible. As soon as you notice that thing's gone, report it, because it's practically impossible for them to investigate things like thefts at Burning Man, especially if you wait until the event's over. If you report it as soon as possible, then the police are going to be able to ask people in the area where it was taken from if maybe they saw anything. Maybe you'll get lucky. And aside from that, you will need some number that the police give you if you want to make a claim on your insurance. If you're claiming that something's been stolen, the insurance company wants evidence that you reported that thing as being stolen. You're going to want to make sure that all of your stuff is well protected, be that from the dust, the heat, the elements, whatever. You need to protect your things. So any electronic devices, or really just anything, you want to keep that dust away from anything you're bringing along that is valuable. So Ziploc bags tend to be the number one choice for that. You might want to double bag them or something, or just make sure you get really nice sturdy ones that aren't going to split or anything like that. If it's something breakable, you probably want to give it a bit of padding as well, just in case, something happens, someone falls on it or steps on it, pad it out a bit. Heat can be a problem for electronic devices as well. So whatever you're kind of storing it in and padding it in, it's better if you can use light colored. A lot of camera cases and stuff, they tend to be black. You really want something that's light colored to help keep the temperature down a bit. And you might want to consider getting, a small kind of cool bag or insulated bag so that it's keeping the temperature a bit lower, especially if you're planning to store them in your vehicle or something where it's going to get really, really hot. If you are going to put it in some kind of cool bag, don't put anything wet in there. You don't need to keep your phone on ice or something. That's probably asking for a lot of trouble. You just want something where the temperature where you're storing those things is not going to, be so hot that it's frying your batteries. This probably goes without saying, but you really don't want to leave your valuables just laying out in the open like a buffet for potential thieves. You want to kind of stash your stuff away so that no one knows it's there and it would be kind of hard for them to find. So a lot of people do choose vehicles, which, like I just mentioned, vehicles can get very hot, which is not so good for electronics. If you just, pop your phone in there and it gets too hot, you might find that your phone just gives up on you very quickly. So if you are planning on storing it in a vehicle, make sure your vehicle is in shade. It's better if the vehicle is a light color. Make sure you are not leaving the electronics, so they are just kind of sitting in the sun. You want to put them in a shady spot where they're hidden as well, obviously. And maybe get some of the silver stuff that you can put on the windows that's going to help keep the temperature lower inside the car, and the cool bag thing as well if possible, without the ice. If you're going to be keeping them in your camp, then you kind of got two problems to worry about. There's the potential for them to get broken, because even if they're inside your tent, there's a chance that someone might fall on your tent or step on the edge of your tent, and maybe your phone's right there and they've just smashed your phone. And of course, thieves. So you kind of want to find somewhere where you can put them where they're going to be nice and protected and hidden. Something having a laundry bag that's full of underwear and socks and things that people really aren't going to want to rifle through or think that there would be something valuable in there. and all of your dirty stuff is just gonna kind of pad everything out. If you're putting them in some kind of bag, like a backpack or something, don't put them in one of the pockets where it's going to be really easy for someone to open that pocket and be like, oh, valuable stuff. Or, right on top of everything. You want them to kind of be lower down, maybe not right at the bottom, but near the bottom. Maybe wrap them in a towel or something so it just kind of feels like a folded towel. Try and kind of disguise them a bit and hide them a bit so they're not easy to find. There's this theory that a lot of thieves are kind of opportunistic thieves. Like, they're not going to go and rifle through your stuff to look for things to steal, but if they see, like, a bottle of whiskey sitting there and no one's around, they might swipe it. So, don't make it like a buffet. Don't make it super easy for your valuable stuff to be found. So, burn night seems to be the prime night when thefts do occur because, I guess everyone is at the burn, so it's like the perfect time when a lot of camps are just pretty much empty. So if you have been storing all your valuables inside your camp somewhere, on burn night you might want to pop them in your vehicle. It's not as hot at night, so all of your devices should be fine in your car, hopefully. It just means that one night when kind of thefts are a bit higher, that all of your stuff is locked away in your vehicle, it's hidden out of sight, and chances are no one's going to break into your vehicle to root around to see if you have anything. So I know this makes it sound like there's gangs of thieves roaming around Burning Man just looking for stuff to steal, the Artful Dodgers gang. But theft isn't a huge problem at Burning Man. I don't have any statistics, I don't know how many thefts occur at Burning Man, but I don't think it's a huge problem. I don't think I know anyone that's had something valuable stolen from them at Burning Man. Maybe a tutu or some bottles of booze or a bike or something, but as for someone coming in and kind of rooting through people's camps to find phones and things that are hidden, I don't know anyone that's happened to. But it's worth kind of taking some precautions, making sure that any valuables that you really don't want to lose are kind of safe and stashed away and secure, and you're not kind of worrying about them while you're at Burning Man. So I hope this was helpful, guys, and if any of the rest of you have any tips or tricks on what to do with your valuables, either places you can put them so you don't have to bring them at all, or how to protect them and stash them in your camp or your vehicle or something, let us know in the comments below. And if you see me at Burning Man this year, feel free to come and say hi to me. Bye, guys.